Good evening and welcome everybody. My name is Lori Rodriguez and I am the Executive Director of Special Programs for Dickinson ISD. Special programs includes departments such as special education, dyslexia, Section 504, nurses, counselors, social emotional learning. And we are very pleased tonight to welcome you to our opening session for our Dyslexia Expo. And Ms. Vocal has made a special video that I would like to share with you now.
Hi, I'm Carla Vocal, Dickinson ISD Superintendent. I'm pleased to welcome you to the Dickinson ISD Dyslexia Expo. This year, our format is a little different because of COVID, and we are excited for you to hear from some of our amazing students, their parents, and our staff members. As a parent struggling to find answers and the right supports for a dyslexic child, it's easy to feel alone. The number of questions going through your mind can become overwhelming. What exactly is dyslexia? Where do I go for help? What reading interventions will my child receive? Will my child be able to read? Will he or she go to college? What can I do to help support my child at home? Beginning tonight and for the next 4 Thursdays, we will do our best to provide you with information that will answer your questions. I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentations that have been planned and prepared just for you. And be sure to stay for the question and answer session after each presentation. No matter where you are on your path to learning about dyslexia, we hope the Dickinson ISD Dyslexia Expo will provide you with answers and with resources to help your child. You will soon discover that you are far from alone. In Dickinson ISD, we are here for you. And as Gators, we are always better together.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you Jessica Rodriguez. And despite the last name, we're not related, except through perhaps a long friendship and deep appreciation for the skill set that Jessica brings to us as a school board member, an involved parent, and the mother of 2 of our panelists. At this time, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Mrs. Rodriguez, and she is going to take it from here. Sit back and enjoy.
Hi, thank you, Lori. And I'd like to welcome everybody for coming today. My name again is Jessica Rodriguez, and I will be the host of the student and parent panel. I am one of your school board trustees, and I also have 3 boys that are dyslexic. We are so excited to be here with you today because we all have been where you are now. We've done the crying, we've done all the different things that you probably have done also, to try to figure out how best to help your child. We know that you might feel like no one understands what you're going through, but we do. And we are here to show you that with a lot of hard work from you and your student, your kids will be successful. Now, we will have 2 parts to this session. The first half will be the student panel answering questions, and the second half will be the parents answering questions that were submitted through a survey that was sent out about a month ago. After the session is over, you can go onto the website and you can read a little bit more about the students in their bios, so that be helpful for your student to kind of read a little bit deeper on about the student panel. Is everybody ready to begin? Let me introduce the student panel through a movie that they have put together for you.
The long, unspoken path of the successful dyslexics.
Can you pick out which students are dyslexic in this group? Hi, my name is Colton Marshall. I'm a junior at Dickinson High School. I'm currently the group commander for TX 083rd, which is the Air Force Junior ROTC program at the high school. I'm the president of the Kitty Hawk Air Society, which is the honor society within ROTC. I'm also a member of the International Thespian Society. After graduation, I plan to enlist in the Marine Corps.
Hi, my name is Jacob Rodriguez, and I'm a junior at Dickinson High School. I'm currently ranked 23 out of 730 students. I'm a member of the English Honor Society, the National Honor Society, and the Science Honor Society. I'm a member of the Student Council and competing with the UIL math team. I am also a member of the JV baseball team and the high school drumline. I plan on attending Texas A&M College Station when I graduate and pursuing a degree in engineering.
My name is Coy Magliolo, and I'm a junior at Dickinson High School. I'm in the top 10% in my class. I'm in the National Honor Society, the English Honor Society, and the Science National Honor Society. I am a current member of the varsity football team and was awarded All Academic All District this season. After graduation, I plan on getting a business degree and focusing on financial planning.
Hi, my name is Arnold Rodriguez, and I'm a senior at Dickinson High School. I am ranked number 9 out of 684 students. I'm a member of the National Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, Science Honor Society, and English Honor Society. I have also been a member of the Student Council for all my years at Dickinson High School. I have been in UIL Math for 2 years. I am the captain of the cross-country team, and I have been on the drumline at Dickinson High School. I will be attending Texas A&M College Station and attending their engineering program. Also, I have been accepted in their honors engineering program.
Hi, I'm Victor Escobar IV, and I'm a senior at Dickinson High School. I'm in the top 15% of my class. I'm part of the Math Honor Society, and I'm a member of 4 years of the Gator Band. I'll be attending Texas A&M, hopefully getting a degree in marketing or accounting.
I was diagnosed with dyslexia in 6th grade. I couldn't understand why I was struggling with spelling, and I couldn't hear certain phonetics in words.
I was diagnosed in the 5th grade with dyslexia. Couldn't figure out why I couldn't read like everyone else. Take me a lot longer to get through pages than my classmates.
I was diagnosed with dyslexia in 4th grade. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't read like the other kids. Every time I'd read, I'd always pause and sound out the words, and I didn't know why I did that.
Being diagnosed in 4th grade with dyslexia, I was always thinking, why couldn't I read as well as the other kids? I would hide the fact that I couldn't read by pretending to keep up with the other kids as the teacher was reading and as my peers started to read.
I was diagnosed when I was in the 4th grade. Before then, I really didn't understand why I couldn't read. I thought it was my fault. Once I learned that I had dyslexia, I learned simple ways to help me improve my reading and to get me to where I am today.
Did you know?
Dyslexia has no physical characteristics.
Dyslexia is hereditary.
Dyslexia is not connected to intelligence.
It can go undiagnosed for years or even decades.
It affects 1 in 10 individuals, many of whom remain undiagnosed.
Having dyslexia means that I
am creative,
can see the bigger picture,
am an excellent problem solver,
am extremely curious.
Quote by Walt Disney, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. It's kind of fun to do the impossible."
We are the face of dyslexia.
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 You would never know by looking at us.
And all we have accomplished,
How much we had struggled and have to work
to get to the place we are now.
I hope y'all enjoyed that video. The boys really put a lot of time and effort into remembering their story and remembering where they came from. You know, they're now juniors and seniors in high school, and all of this started back when they were in elementary. I mean, a lot of them didn't know what was wrong with them since 1st grade. You know, they were always very smart. All of them were very smart, very, could grasp concepts very well, but for some reason they couldn't spell right, and for some reason they just couldn't read right. And it wasn't until like 4th or 5th and 6th grade, that they finally figured, what was wrong with them, and that really helped them. So now we are going to, I'm going to pass this over to Colton and start our Q&A session with our student panelists. Colton, take it away.
All right. Hello, my name is Colton Marshall. I'm a junior at Dickinson High School. I'm a dyslexic student, and I'll be interviewing our student panel. So let's get to the first question. So this first question is for Arnold, Jacob, and Coy. Our pre-AP, AP, and dual credit English classes something someone with dyslexia should take the higher grade in regular classes, or what is better for your GPA? So I guess that means, like, would you rather go in the regular class for the higher grade that you would get, or would you rather go pre-AP, AP, or dual credit for the well, I guess the payoff of whatever that would be?
Yeah, dyslexic students can absolutely take pre-AP, AP, dual credit classes. They just got to know you just have to make a lot of commitment in classes. It takes a lot of hard work. You probably got to have conferences with your teachers, go to tutorials if needed, and you will have to make a balance, especially if you're doing like extra curricular activities like sports and band. But it can be done, and all these high classes can like make you have a high GPA and rank in your class.
Yeah, for me, when I was in the 8th grade, I always wanted to take a pre-AP class, with the good readers, because I wasn't really a good reader per se. But so my goal is to take a class in 9th grade, even though my parents told me to not take the pre-AP class because I was dyslexic. So I couldn't read as fast as everyone else. So I did it, and I was number 8 in my class my first semester at Dickinson High School.
To go with Arnold, I was when I went to high school, I went straight to like pre-AP classes because of Arnold, because how successful he did. And then with the teacher, for like the English teacher, Miss Brooks, like she was like probably the best English teacher I have had like my whole life. And then to start off my high school career with her was a big plus, and just helped with the GPA, even though she was hard. She would grade hard on your essays and make you read a lot, but that really helped me, and a lot of people get better.
All right, so moving on to the next question. This one's for Arnold and Coy. What habits or tools help you function in class and during studying?
One of the habits I have is having the ability to take pictures of notes in class, or even get the copy from the teacher is great too. And I also make note cards before I study for a test, and it helps a lot. And writing the information down helps me remember the concept better, and it also provides like a study aid using note cards.
For me, some tools that I used to study was just review what we went over in class. Like for math and science, I didn't really have to review that much, but for like reading and history, I'd have to look at the grammar and like how to spell some words, go on to dictionary.com and look up or speak into the phone the word that I wanted to put down. So those are some tools that helped me with studying.
Alrighty, this next one's for Coy, Jacob, Arnold, and Victor. How did you learn to speak up for yourself and advocate for yourself during class?
My mom and dad would also remind me before any test when I was young that like they would tell me what my accommodations were, and tell me, make sure the teacher knows that my accommodations are being met. And I was nervous. I was little, and I was not gonna. I was shy, and I didn't want to tell the teacher, "Oh, you messed up my accommodations." But as like when I took the accommodations and when I didn't take the accommodations and I took it in class, I saw the difference between when I actually took my accommodations in a small group. It was a better grade, and when I took it in class, I couldn't focus, and I made a worse grade. So yes, just make sure the accommodations.
When I first got my accommodations, I had to make sure that the teacher would remember that I had it. So I had to go tell them before like a quiz and a test. I had to make sure that I was going to get pulled out, or if I was not, I wasn't going to go take the test because my grade would go down because I couldn't read like the rest of them, and I wouldn't get the extra time to finish it.
For me, advocating for myself, when me and Jacob were little, like in the third, fourth grade, I remember going into school every day. I think at like 7:30 because we started like 7:50, and asking my reading teacher if there was any extra credit or anything that I could do to bring my grade up because I wasn't really doing good in reading because I was just starting to get accommodations for that. But as we got into high school, we started just going up and asking and not being afraid to ask because for me and Jacob, it was a learning curve going from fourth grade all the way to where we are now, me 12th, him 11th. And for as getting the accommodations, I noticed that my accommodations have started to blend more with like without getting accommodations. It's just it started to blend a little more. So I saw it as that getting the accommodations helped me steadily get to the point of where I could take tests and still do good on them without the accommodations. And I've been trying to get more towards that rather than just trying to rely on accommodations. But I see it as like leverage to help you get to that point, not something to be afraid of and go get.
Yeah, as they said at the beginning, I was really self-conscious about speaking up because I didn't want to be viewed as needing help. But then I realized that I did. And every time you did use the help, it statistically gave me a better grade. And throughout me going from elementary, which I started in the fourth grade with dyslexia, to middle school, to junior high, to high school, you notice how big of a difference it makes. And now, to be quite honest, I don't use my accommodations for in class. I still use it on the test, but in class, because of my early years, I've adapted to learning how to use my brain in class, but I still use my accommodations when I do need it.
At least for me, adding on to what Victor said, I only have to use my accommodations for testing now, but I know that I need them for testing. And so we adapt in our brains to, fix, I don't want to say what's wrong, but what's different about us through, with dyslexia. So, we correct what's different. And, there's some stuff that you just can't help with, with tests and stuff like that. You have to speak up for yourself. And ultimately you'll learn to know that it'll help more than anything. Moving on to the next question. This is for Arnold and Coy. How do you feel dyslexia intervention and learning has made an impact on your education, and how has it made you feel from the beginning to where you are now?
I think the more I use my accommodations, the better I did on tests and even in school because I just I still it just gave me more confidence the more I use my accommodations and I still don't like to read out loud in class and I will never pick up a book and just read it for fun. But I had to learn that it's okay and as long as I'm doing well in my classes, I can enjoy other things as well.
Yeah, I agree with Coy. How hard is it to feel successful? To be quite honest, I haven't felt successful until I got accepted to A&M because that was my goal since I was born. And looking back, there's a lot of moments I probably should have thought, man, I'm doing a really good job. But I really do believe that it was because of the hard work that the dyslexia teachers did on helping us with our vowels or even learning cursive. Learning cursive helped me. I don't know how, but just all that they did, it really made an impact.
For me using the accommodations, I kind of explained it in my last answer, but piggybacking off of what Victor said, um, just using the accommodations really helped. And then going back to what Coy said, I somewhat start to read books for fun because I understand them a little more and I can get like on the level where I can connect with the book, which to someone that doesn't have dyslexia might not understand, but someone with dyslexia, like all of us, we probably understand.
Right. I agree with that too. Like I'm every dyslexic person is different, and for me, reading wasn't the issue. I could read well above everybody else in my grade. My issue was writing and spelling. I couldn't. I could see a word and I would know that it's not spelt right, but I would have no idea how to build that word and make it the right spelling. And it was just a problem of phonetics. I didn't understand that certain letters made certain sounds. It just didn't make sense. I mean, you hear a word and you hear the letters and you're like, that's how it's supposed to be, but it doesn't work like that. But definitely, it's made an impact in my writing for sure. I mean, I went from only being able to write a paragraph to where now I'm writing, full page memos and stuff without any help. And it's the interventions definitely helped me. It's something that if you utilize it and you take your time with it, it'll certainly help you in the long run. This next question is for Victor and Arnold. What helped you with reading better and faster, and what encouraged you to not give up?
So I believe it was my sophomore year. For spring break, we went to this ranch called Cortez Ranch. And my father, as some of y'all know, is a loudmouth. So he just starts talking to some people. And they get to talking about that I'm dyslexic. And they said, my kid is dyslexic too. But he also has Erland syndrome. So we got to talking about, oh, what is that? Well, it is, no, I don't have the definition in front of me, but it's how light reflects off your eyes and it messes up your reading patterns. And it's very much close to dyslexia. So I went and got tested by a professional and turns out I have Erland syndrome. And what that does for me is that I have these special glasses that are tinted to my eyes and they help me relax in every shade of light. So when I quite honestly tell you that I started reading 2 times faster, where my mouth would talk and my brain would be like, what is going on? So that's what it's the Erland syndrome glasses. I really ask that you guys start talking about that because it's a big deal. Like my reading went up easily 100%.
Yeah, for me, I don't have Ehrlich syndrome, so my change wasn't as dramatic as Victor's. But for me, I feel like taking pre-AP classes really helped me because I had to try a lot harder, spend like roughly like an hour or two a day trying to keep up. And some ways that helped me read faster was when I watch a show, I usually have subtitles on, so I just read the subtitles, sometimes put down the volume all the way so that I could have to read as fast as they talk. And that really helped me get the like the eyesight to read. Like I don't know if you guys understand or can see, but like when you read, you can look at like 2, 3, 4 words, and you could read all those at once, and then you move on to the next 4. So that's how I started to read faster.
All right, this next question is for Jacob, Arnold, Coy, and Victor. So what programs and modifications have helped you the most since you've been diagnosed with dyslexia?
I'd say a couple of the programs and modifications that's helped me is my accommodations of oral administration, extended time, and small group testing have helped me the most, I'd say. These things just take the pressure off a little bit so I can just focus on doing my best in class and even test.
For me, it was Reading Ally, where you just download the book and you can follow along what they're reading, and it has it highlighted, so it's not like you don't know where they are. And every time it goes to a new page, it moves down automatically on the page. It's a pretty nice system if you are not, or if you don't have time to read it, or if you just need to read it fast rather than just trying to read it on your own, where it would take more like 3 times the amount of time it would take to just listen to it and follow along.
For for me, what it was like getting pulled out for the test and having these programs on your computer, like the Snap and Read and the Class Kick, where the Class Kick is where the teacher already has it pre-read, so you don't have to have the teacher or like another teacher to be there and read it to you. It's just a click of a button and you put the headphones in and it reads you the question. As you're comprehending it just helps you learn it better and just get it better.
I'd say for me, it was probably the extra time in the small group. You know, as you grow up, like with these guys, I see them all the time now. Whenever we have tests or benchmarks, because we would all be in the same small group, and we would all test together and have extra time. And it's really good to know that you're not alone in this.
I would also have to say the extra time in small group. It helps. It helps tremendously. You really don't think about it. You're like small group. It's just a smaller group of people. But when it's people who have the same issues as you and they're struggling just as much as you are, it's really humbling. Like I remember we were all in Miss Samora's class in 7th grade, and we would all have the same class period to test, and we would just go in there, and man, we would knock that test out quicker than we would if we were in the regular classroom. And as well as on the extra time, like I'm dyslexic dysgraphic, so I get writer's block super easy, and when there's a time limit on it, it stresses me out completely. And the extra time helps me, like Coy said, it allows me to just chill out. I know I have all the time that I need. And as well as the extra time with writing, voice to text. I suck at writing, but I can talk all day long. So it's one of those things where you can press a button and you can just go. You can talk, and then when you're done, you can go back, you can read it, and then change what you want to change. It's really useful. As you've gotten older, for Jacob and Arnold, are the teachers patient with learning that you are dyslexic? Are they patient knowing that you're dyslexic?
I think I should start this one. Because for my teachers, which are like the pre-AP ones and the dual credit, I was the first one to come through them with dyslexia, so I was mainly the one having to give them what I have to do for accommodations because I I don't believe they've had other dyslexic people other than us in those higher level classes. So we were like the first wave in a sense, but just getting older, the teachers understand and they want to help you any way they can. They're not going to put you down for being dyslexic, and they're just going to try to help you.
For me, Arnold was basically the guinea pig for like everyone for pre-AP classes and AP classes. And then I show up and the teachers already know what to do from Arnold. So yes, they are more patient because they know how long we need and that we need the extra time and need to be pulled out. Yeah.
Let's not forget to mention that I set the standard for Jacob.
Okay, guys. Well, we have time for one last question. And so I'm going to go ahead and take over. I want each of y'all to answer one of these two. You can pick from either one of these. So the first one is, since you're older, is it obvious to your peers that you're dyslexic? Or how does dyslexia affect you today? So starting with, let's see, Coy.
I'll answer the how does dyslexia affect my life today.
Okay.
Today, dyslexia is just part of my life, to be honest. I mean, the habits I've learned and am dealing with other students with dyslexia have been very helpful to maintain my grades and schedule. I know I have way more confidence than I did as a 9-year-old when I first got diagnosed with dyslexia. And I can't say that having dyslexia is fun, but I don't think I would be as successful as a student if I didn't have to work so hard and stick to my goals.
Okay, Victor?
Yeah, I'll answer to the peer one. If you don't tell anybody that you're dyslexic, they're not going to figure it out. Like, unless you're reading out loud, they're not going to figure it out. I've been in situations where we're talking, then I'll be like, yeah, me and my dyslexia. Because they'll ask, why do you go out for tests? Yeah, I have dyslexia. What? Yeah, dyslexia. So it's more of a mental trait. It's not a physical trait. And to add what Coy said, that it's normal to us to mentally work harder for literally everything, math, science, and reading. So to give advice to the kids, good work ethic. That's how you succeed with dyslexia.
Thank you, Victor. Jacob?
I'll answer the same one that Victor did. No one would ever know that I was dyslexic unless I read out loud. And I remember in history class, Coach Wilkinson would always make me read. Me and Coy, he would always make us read, and it was slow. The people around us had to help us. That's the only way that they knew. And for some of my friends, they were like, man, should I get tested? Because I want that extra time too. So
Thank you, Jacob. Okay, Colton.
I'll answer how dyslexia affects me today. I mean, like they said, I mean, it's just something we deal with. Like, I forget that I'm dyslexic on a regular basis. I mean, the only times that I really remember is going out for testing and stuff. I mean, my accommodations, it's all normal to me. I mean, when I first found out, it was a shock. But, after a year or so, you get used to it, and, it's just something you deal with. And, if you're still struggling, you'll learn how to adapt. And I mean, like I said, everybody's different with dyslexia, so you'll figure out what works for you, and you'll figure out how your brain works, and you'll figure out how to deal with it, and it'll be normal. I mean, you'll never know.
Thank you, Colton. Okay, Arnold.
Well, I think I'm going to answer both, even it out a little. So for the peer things, yeah, no one's going to know that you're dyslexic unless you tell them or you read out loud, which happens to me a lot in pre-AP classes. But then the teachers stop asking you, so you'll be fine. And you just learn to live with it and just work around it. And for how it affects me today, I have become more accustomed to not more accustomed to have trained myself to try not to use the accommodations more because I'm going to college and I know that they're going to be tougher in college. So I have tried to gear myself away from that, still trying to maintain my same grades and my class rank. And it's been a mission, and I agree with Victor that it's all about work ethic, because for me, Mrs. Brooks' class wasn't really hard per se. It was just a lot of work, and ever since me and Jacob were little, my mom did these, I don't even know what they call them. I think phonics or something.
The Barton learning.
Barton. And then we had a class online where we could do things, and it was little games for reading, and we got points which we could get prizes from. So that was fun. But I lost all the stuff, so I don't know where it is.
I never got a prize.
So
Hey, Thea, can I? Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, go Vic.
Okay. One, can you please email Miss Shu to say that me and Jacob were in a dyslexic panel because we might run late for a concert we're supposed to go to?
Yeah, we're done now, baby. So okay, Arnold, were you done with yours?
I guess I'm done.
Okay. Okay, Victor, did you have anything else to add?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I also wanted to add that for college, we still get separate rooms and extra time.
Yes.
So for the kids that were going to ask that question, I thought I'd add that in there.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Yes, you do get to carry your accommodations with you. So thank you, Victor, for saying that. And I'd like to thank all our student panel. I think they did such an amazing job. I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm proud of all your accomplishments and just everything. I mean, from most of y'all being from a 1 point something reading in, elementary, 4th grade, and to being where y'all are now, I'm just beyond excited and happy. And I know y'all are going to do some great things. All right. Well, thank you. And I know Jacob and Victor have to leave, so y'all can sign off. And next, we're going to move into the parent panel. So I also have some questions that were sent in from the parents of dyslexic children. And so Misty Magliolo and Jenny Canales and I will be answering those questions. Okay. All right. Well, I have already introduced myself. So of course, my boys were here on the panel. I have 3 sons though, and 2 of them were on the panel. It was Arnold Rodriguez and Jacob Rodriguez were my sons. And like I said, they started, we've been trying to figure out what was wrong with them since like 1st grade. So it was a long battle. We had to figure it out, and we finally got them tested in 4th grade and found out that they were dyslexic. And that was they were able to get help from the teachers at school. And, of course, on the side, we still do a lot of other things. But okay, Misty, if you'd like to introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Hi, my name is Misty Magliolo, and I'm Coy's mom, who was on the panel. I'm also the dyslexia teacher at Lobet Elementary, and they're going to be a hard act to follow. I've known most of them since they were 4 years old or when they were identified as dyslexic. And it's just so nice to have this forum to be able to celebrate them today and to be able to let the students and parents watching know that it's going to be okay. And we're here to support you. And I look forward to answering questions to help you guys through your journey.
Thank you, Misty. Jenny Canales, can you introduce yourself and say who your son was and, you know, anything you want to talk about?
Okay, I'm Jenny Canales, and Colton Marshall is my son. And yes, we've been dealing with dyslexia really since he was in 2nd grade. He was struggling with spelling. And I am actually the English Language Arts and Social Studies academic coach at Bay Colony. So I have a background in teaching reading. And I kept thinking that if I taught him enough, Misty's smiling, that I could teach him right out of it, and discovered pretty quickly that I could not. So I'm glad to be on this panel, and I'm happy to answer the questions today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we're going to start off with a question for Misty. And of course, Jenny, you can, you know, chime in behind her if you would like. Okay, the first question is, how did you feel when your child was diagnosed with dyslexia?
You know, I think what Jenny said is, you know, I was a kindergarten teacher. I knew how to teach phonics. I knew how to teach guided reading, writing from an early age. And I think I taught Coy so much phonics for so long, his dyslexia was kind of hidden a little bit. And then we get to 2nd grade and things just aren't working out. You know, we didn't have any problems in kindergarten, 1st grade, and then we move into 3rd grade. And I think I have to be honest, I was sad. I think because we get scared right away. And my husband is dyslexic, so we were kind of aware that it might happen. And I think I just started surrounding people around me to start asking questions, because even as a teacher, I was lost on where to go. And then as soon as we started to get him, we got him identified. DISD has such an amazing special programs, and we got him in with the right teachers as far as his dyslexic teachers, and it's been success ever since then. But I think right whenever I did find out, I thought, what is his future going to look like? And where do we go from here? So a lot of you that might be thinking that right now with your 3rd and 4th graders, I'm glad again that you got to hear that it's going to be okay.
Thank you, Misty. Jenny, did you want to add anything?
I was just going to say, I'm the one who requested the testing for Colton. I already called it. I knew exactly what it was. But when they called me in and sat me down as a mama and not a teacher, I cried. Because I felt guilty that I didn't do it sooner. Because we started it in 5th grade because he hit a wall in 4th. And I felt bad. And he even told me after he was diagnosed and the testing came back and everything. And I said, baby, you're dyslexic and dysgraphic. And his reaction was, oh, mama, thank God. Now people will stop thinking that I'm lazy. And it just killed me because I knew that I somehow made him feel that way. And I think that at school, he just felt like, look, I'm working so hard, but no, it's not working out. And with Colton, he was making A's. And so I had to bring all the things to the school and say, look, I know he's an A student, but you don't know what's going on at home when we write and spell. There are tears, there's heartache, and I can't have it anymore. And so if you're sad, we understand, but the kids, as you see, are fine, and we are too. But you have to grieve a little bit just because you're not sure what's going to happen at first.
Thank you, Jenny. Okay, what advice would you give to younger students with dyslexia? Jenny.
I've tried to tell Colton, and I also have another son that's dyslexic, and he is in 6th grade now. And I've tried to teach the boys from the very beginning that they need to advocate for themselves, because I am a teacher and I know how hard it is to keep everything straight. And I've tried to teach the boys that it is not disrespectful to go to the teacher in a kind way and say, I need the notes, please. Don't forget I have extra time, or may I turn that in tomorrow? I'm not finished because I have extra time. So I've tried, I want to teach my kids and my students to advocate for themselves from a very young age. It's not mean or ugly or rude to ask for what you need. There's just a way to do it without being disrespectful.
Yes, and that led into our next question. What was the best method to advocate for your child? And I'm going to answer that one also. And what I used to do when they were younger, now they do it on their own, but when they were younger, I would literally write down exactly what they're going to ask the teacher. I'm like, this is exactly what you're going to ask. So you go in there and this is what you ask, what can I do? Or in even just general things like getting extra credit and stuff, so this is what you're going to go ask, I know I didn't do that good. Is there anything else I can do to fix it? Or what can I do? And, and sometimes even if it's not for their accommodations for advocating, for themselves, it's just in general, their grades and stuff. And, or if the grade wasn't put in correctly and also, but as a parent, don't be scared to, of course, let your child try to do it first. And you let them go and then let them talk to the teacher. But of course, if the answer doesn't come back the way you wanted it to, then after they come back and they tell you what the teacher said, you email the teacher and you tell them, hey, you know what? Hey, can help me, what can my kid do? There has to be something to help them, but you have to be willing to help them. You can't, think that they're just going to give them grades. You have to be willing to help them and willing for them to do extra work to, improve themselves. But Misty?
I agree. And, I have the pleasure of being able to teach 3rd and 4th graders right now. I have 2nd graders as well. I see some of my kids on here right now. And it's just like looking at Coy as a 3rd grader, and, it's STAR testing season right now, right? And that's all they want to talk about when they come. And we talk about how that test does not define you. You are going to do the best you can, but whatever else you do, you're still amazing. And I tell my students a lot, because I used to tell Coy this, it's about the growth, not the grade. Because once you make the growth working so hard, then it can be about the grade later on. But I think right now, especially to all you elementary parents, confidence is key. We need to make sure that they know that we come to school, we do our best, we study at home, but they have to have another outlet in their life, sports, band, anything that they want to do, art, so that they can build confidence outside the classroom, so that when they come to the classroom and they struggle, well, they have the tools that they need. But confidence in those young ages, and knowing that it doesn't matter, the STAR test, it's a test, do the best you can. But as far as the accommodations, of course, did exactly what Jessica said. I armed Coy with his accommodations, which gave him the confidence to do well.
One of the other things that I did every year from the year that Colton and Marcus were both diagnosed, I emailed the teacher the first week of school and made contact. And I said, hi, this is who I am. And you can contact me at any time. And these are his accommodations. I know that you'll get his paperwork, but please be aware that he needs these. He's a smart kid and he will work hard for you, but please be aware day one, he will need his accommodations. And I just opened that door so they would know that they could always talk to me, and they knew that I was going to be contacting them, with questions or to help Colton out whenever he needed something. And for the most part, everyone has been very receptive to that.
Yes, that's funny, Jenny, because it seems like we all do that same thing at the beginning of the year, because you want to make sure the teacher knows that they do have accommodations. You know, they have like over 100 kids in their class, and we have like, 1 to 3 kids at home. So, it's easy for us to remember, but that's a lot for a teacher to remember. And sometimes they need to be reminded. That's why the kids need to make sure that they get their accommodation. They just have to say, "Oh, teacher, remember, I have to." Oh, okay. And they're really good at it. It's just they have so many kids. You have to remember they have a ton of kids. Okay. So, what did you do to get through the breakdowns when the kids would like have a breakdown, or how would you encourage your child to keep trying? Misty.
Well, I mean, I remember we talked about this. The boys even spoke about this. Is the reading level always came home, and we're in the 3rd grade, and it's a 1.3, and kids talk and they worried. Cool. I knew the day it was going to come home, and I'm not going to lie. We just would have a crumble it up party, and he would crumble it up and we would throw it away. Now, that did not mean that we did not think reading was important. But again, it wasn't about the number. It was about, but look how much you improved from last time. And I'm telling you, there were times when he would cry, and then when he would go to bed, I would cry. And again, I'm a teacher. And I just think sometimes going through things like that together and getting the support you need and having the teachers on your side, it's just part of it. And I think that watching these boys now, there were a lot of breakdowns. And I think as just you're coaching them a lot, you're coaching them on the side about their accommodations. And if you get this on your reading level, we're gonna be fine. But you as a parent, I think, have to get right first. You have to say, you know what? They have dyslexia. You know what? They might not pass every single test. You know what? I might have a junior right now that still reads on an 8th grade level. But if you're okay, they feed off of you. And I think if you can be confident that we've got this together, that helps a lot when they have a breakdown.
I had to remind Colton, well, and I have to, he's better now because he's older, but Marcus is 11, and I still have to do those pep talks. Baby, this does not mean that you aren't smart. You are very smart. And I know their IQs. I know their ability. These kids are all very smart. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're not smart. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to cope this long. And I have to remind them of that, and that everyone has struggles. This is just yours, and it's okay, because you'll always have us to help you. And Colton, I have to say, one of his teachers was instrumental in his development with dyslexia, and that was Ann Zamora. And I can still call her. She goes to his 504 meetings with me. That way I can get out of the teacher role and be a mom, and she can be the teacher role. And then with Marcus, I have Fran Helker go with me because I want to be the mama. And Fran has been instrumental in Colton and Marcus's development. So just a shout out to those 2 ladies.
Yes, they're wonderful. Those are some wonderful teachers. Let's see. Is it difficult? Of course, it's probably not anymore, but when they were younger, was it difficult to help them at home with schoolwork? And I'm gonna start this answer this question. It was a lot of work. I mean, is all I can say. It was a lot of work. You as a parent, you can't just think, oh, the school's taking care of it. You are in it with them. You are basically a student again. Oh my God, I know about biomes. I know it all again. I mean, I am like expert on like everything. And so not only did we would study with them, and I know Misty and Jenny probably did the same thing, and my sister-in-law did the same thing. We would write tests up for them. That way they could read the questions on the day of the test. So they're not the same test, but we would go over the whole material, and then we do like matching for them. We would do fill in the blanks. I mean, our own reviews, just so that on the day of the test, they'd be able to read the words on the page. So ours, I don't know, how severe, a lot of your kids are, but ours, we had to do to that depth, for them to be able to even read the questions the next day on the test. And we did that for every single test, starting, I want to say, in second grade. So every single reading test, we would read the chapter with them, because, oh my gosh, if you had them try to read that one page, it would probably take hours for just one page. So you'd read it with them. And then at the end, we would write up questions, matching everything. And then for science, same thing, all the way. I want to say we did that all the way through almost the end of the freshman year. Freshman year. I mean, now they've taken off. I mean, they can just do it on their own. But because they've had to work so hard to get to where they're at now, that it's not a big deal anymore. They're just like, oh yeah, no, we know what to do. We know how to study. And so they really know how to study now. And you see them, they're all top ranking students. I mean, so to go from barely being able to read or spell or anything to where they're at, I mean, I think it's just amazing. So I like Misty.
I'm just going to say, because I think all of our parents, just to utilize the things that your dyslexia teacher may have presented to you, Learning Ally. I mean, I never thought I would ever have to read Old Man and the Sea again. But I was like reading it, and Coy was reading it on Learning Ally, which please utilize that source. For the district really likes us to encourage that. As a teacher and as a mom, Learning Ally has really helped Coy. So he would read the chapters, and then we would talk about it, because there was no other way for him to understand it. And I think, especially being an elementary parent, Skyward was my best friend, not for the grade, but teachers are so good about going ahead and letting you see what's coming up. You can start talking to your kids and saying, hey, I see you're going to have this test. Let's start making a schedule so you don't burn them out. Have a little schedule. On Monday, we're going to make note cards. On Tuesday, we're going to do this. But as a parent, utilize Skyward to be able to kind of make your plan so you're not bombarding them all on a Sunday night. Because they have a long way to go when they're in third grade.
When we were studying, Colton's real struggle was the spelling. So honestly, I was so happy when we, in middle school or so, we didn't have spelling tests anymore. I was like, thank you. I couldn't take it anymore. I really couldn't. Marcus, on the other hand, who is my other son who's dyslexic, he spells much better than Colton, and he's not dysgraphic, but his reading level isn't quite as high as Colton's always was. So their struggles are a little different. So we would have to, with the spelling, it was just drill and kill, drill and kill, drill and kill. He would not remember it again. And it was just that every week, until, thank God, spelling tests were over. You're laughing, Misty. Yes. And then with Marcus now, I'm reading Bridge to Terabithia, and we are going over it because he reads it, because he can read it, but then he misses the underlying meaning of things because he's just reading it as fast as he can to get finished with it because he's an 11-year-old boy. So I'm doing that whole, talking about it, writing it, helping him put his thoughts together for his assignments. So.
Yes, and I second you on the spelling test. Although the spelling test, they did really good because we would do the same kind of thing. We would study, but now don't ask them how to spell it the following week because it was gone. They did it for that 1 week, and So I know if any of y'all have that same situation, we were there with y'all. But now, they can, now I tell them, well, say it into your phone. It's so much easier now. Back then, we didn't really have the phones as much in elementary for our kids. But, now it's way easier. Okay, we are coming to the end. So I'm going to ask y'all to say maybe one last word of advice for our parents, something that might help them to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
I would just say, give yourself and your kids some grace. Just take a deep breath It's going to be okay. Just try not to be too hard on yourself or your kiddo. And you'll find what works for you and what works for your kids. And as they mature, they will figure out, just like the boys said, what works for them, and they will go with that. And so they will figure it out. And if you need help for other tips, you can always reach out to me. I'm sure any of the other moms. One other thing I'd like to say is one of the biggest things that have helped my boys is the speech to text. So you may, if you don't have that accommodation, you might want to get that added, especially as they leave elementary.
Misty.
Yes, sorry, someone's out the door. I think what I would say, I agree with giving yourself grace. And I think as parents, utilize everything that we have in the district. Call your child's dyslexia teacher. Ask, do I know everything? I just want to double check their accommodations, like we were talking about Learning Ally and things like that. I know a lot of questions I get is, what more can I do? Or things about like the summer, what can we do to keep their skills up? But we just want to remember, like, extra work doesn't always mean it's fast results, right? And so I think working with your school, working with your dyslexia teacher and classroom teacher, it's okay to send emails, nice emails, and it's okay to stay in a relationship with the teacher and the dyslexia teacher. And the best thing I can say is to find a support system. Jessica Rodriguez and I have been doing this for a long time, and I think just finding another person that can understand what you're going through and what your child's going through, it's just so much easier to go through it with someone else. And y'all can always call us.
Yes, it was so helpful for us as parents, and to be able to call each other. And a lot of times, what one kid doesn't catch, the other kid does. So we're like, oh, wait a minute, is there a test coming up? So just things like that you just need to build a network of parents that are in the same situation as you. Because I know I was talking to Misty earlier, and she's saying, in first grade, these kids were reading like Harry Potter, not our kids. These other kids were reading Harry Potter, and our kids wanted to do that too. And so, you have to put yourself around the kids that are your family, around the kids that are like them, so that they know that it's okay and it'll be okay. But you encourage them and you tell them, yes, you have dyslexia, but that's okay. And you're going to succeed, and it's going to be hard, but that's not an excuse. You are here to work, and I expect 100% every time. So you go to school, you do your best. We will study. So as long as you study and prepare them, as much as you think that you can do. So you prepare them the best that they can, and tell them, hey, you've prepared. If I know that you have studied, I will not be upset. So you just kind of push them on and just encourage them. And like all the ladies said, get them involved in other things, like in sports and different stuff that they can succeed at, art, anything that they are happy to do, bicycle riding, whatever, something that makes them happy and makes them feel like they've achieved something. So team sports are always the best, because, have a bunch of kids together that kind of lift each other up. And so, but I'd like to thank our parent panelists, and we really appreciate y'all. It was a great session, and I was so proud of our student panel. And this is our first annual one, and hopefully we'll do this every year, and we'll have more successful dyslexic students. And we are, I know Lori is also planning on our kids that are going away to college and to the Marines, and for them to, whenever they come back, if they on leave or on their vacations, they have a longer vacation, the college kids do, and so they can come in and maybe speak to the kids again and let them know how they're doing and what accommodations they're using and things. So, but we appreciate all you parents and all you students. Stick with it. You're going to do it. I mean, if our kids can do it, they were at a 1.5 in fourth grade. Most of them were. So, and we didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we wish we had something like this when we were there. So we hope we helped y'all a little, and if you have questions, of course, send them in and we will help, answer them for you. All right. And I'd like to give it back to Lori to.
Just thank you all so much, students and parents. And just remember that next Thursday at 5 o'clock, we will have a presentation about what dyslexia is, how it affects learning, and that's going to be presented by our very own Mary Gonzalez, who's waving at us right now, our educational diagnostician who's also our expert in reading disabilities, and she is going to be presenting next Thursday. And then we are also going to talk about what does dyslexia instruction look like in DISD. It's been an evolving road, and we will be talking a lot about that. So I hope to see you back. Tell other folks about it. This recording, this presentation was recorded, and we will, as soon as I figure out all the technological aspects of it, get it uploaded onto our website. So thank you very much and have a great Thursday.